Hello all, this is Radha Joshi from CADCAMGURU Private Limited, Pune.
I am Shriram Sathe from Sathe Advanced Manufacturing Private Limited. We are into metal, plastic and plastic composite 3D printing services, and we are here to create awareness about additive manufacturing, normally known as 3D printing in traditional way.
Wonderful. Yeah, so basically we are here to just talk about how this works, and I'm going to ask a few questions, and he's the expert in the field. So yeah, let's begin.
Yeah.
So sir, how would you in brief describe what is 3D printing?
So 3D printing is nothing but where you convert a 3D model into different slices and stack them one over the other, such that those slices once stacked and glued together and show you as a 3D model. So this is nothing but 3D printing, and this has a lot of endless applications, and we call it crafting imagination. So whatever you can imagine is what you can make using 3D printing.
Wow. Yeah, that's wonderful. So, could you give us a bit more like examples of how it is used in industry or otherwise?
So in industry, especially 3D printing started as prototyping, wherein mostly the designers what they would design would just see it on the screen and get to see the physical piece only after it is finally made. But it used to take a lot of lead time. Now with rapid prototyping, what they do is they typically design the part and have multiple iterations of their own design, seeing at a physical sample or a scale model of the same thing that is 3D printed. So they can visually see, actually even check the mountings and whatever the functional criteria they want to check, and refine their designs much faster.
Yeah.
That is a real place where 3D printing started. But once 3D printing got into the industry, people started using their own imaginations to uh, and exploit the whole potential of 3D printing, which then took them to metal printing, wherein you can actually print tools and dies, which traditionally used to take about 8 to 10 weeks. That came down to about 2 weeks as their lead time. Then this is like going to touch toy industry, plastic industry, metal industry, uh, then fixturing, or specifically we call it to be small batch, high value production, is where 3D printing has low hanging fruits.
Mm. Wow. And so, would you kind of say that this is almost essential for every kind of
Yeah,
engineer?
it is. So currently, people have so much exposure to various open source networks, and there is a thing called as do it yourself.
Mm.
And do it yourself means you will be involved from design to final use of that part. And this is where 3D printing comes into picture. So whatever you want to make, you want to design, you can really do it. There have been 3D printed guns that are into use. There have been 3D printed robots. The 3D printing can be used to make miniature models that can be used by schools to teach different physics ideas. There can be mechanical toys. Whatever you basically
Endless.
think of and can design is what you can make out of it. And as a part of engineers, uh, because the lead time has grown so short with 3D printing, current engineers that are coming out now, they really need to be well versed with 3D printing so that they'll not get redundant 5 years down the line. 3D printing will be the mainstay or the main manufacturing method that is being used globally, whether it is plastic or metal. 3D printing will be used, The traditional methods that are currently being used will only take a backseat. Only they'll be used where the specialty asks for them to be used. Rest everything, raw material, we call it near net shape manufacturing. You come very close to what you finally want. The that is near net shape. The finishing part will be only done by the traditional process.
Ooh. So that means kind of it's almost
Yeah.
necessary for
Necessary for
every
every
mechanical
engineer.
engineer. Yeah.
I would say every engineer, not
Every
only
engineer.
mechanical engineer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like we are working with government entities who want 3D printers for semiconductors, making microprocessors, who must be knowing cooling channels. So with the amount of data that is being generated using 4G, 5G, the data centers require a very high power which heat up those data centers. They want them to be cooled again. So these are few areas where 3D printing is going to make wonders.
Yeah.
Semiconductor industry currently is the real big thing. So the best of the best processors that we know of is say maybe Apple M2 processors, but those will be replaced by cube chips. So 1 centimeter cube chips, those will maybe be next supercomputers, and that is where at least the Indian government is wanting to put in pressure and wants to develop that kind of technology using 3D printing. There's a lot of push from Ministry of Electronics in terms of developing those materials, say copper, steel, copper, silver, gold, semiconductors, solid state batteries, BLDC motors, magnets, whatever basically you can think of is what they want to make in terms of making India ready for future. So we miss the industry 3.0 bus. We don't want to miss the industry 4.0 bus, and that is where everyone is the biggest buzz around is 3D printing.
Yeah. Do you think like every household will have a 3D printer, like
Yeah.
the way we have
That's
a
our
regular
mission.
printer?
That's our
Yeah.
mission and goal. So possibly Indian society was built that way that everybody used to make their own things, or maybe they had some clusters who would be specialized in something and they used to do barter system. This is what is modern version of the barter system where someone will be very good at designing, someone will be very good at manufacturing, and it will be very decentralized kind of a manufacturing wherein like currently everybody is talking about startups getting grown in tier 2, tier 3 cities, and this is just because of 3D printing and the amount uh, that a person sitting in the remotest village, just having electricity and few resources, can maybe manufacture the best of the best state-of-the-art items at his home. It's all what is in his brain and that he can put it to use.
Yeah. This technology makes it more accessible.
Accessible to
Yeah.
everyone, especially after the COVID. So I would like to mention a small point in favor of 3D printing. Everybody was struck when COVID as a pandemic, and the whole industry saw a shutdown, which was unprecedented. And hospitals were facing a severe shortage for masks. There must be knowing there were face shields that were coming in. Those were 3D printed. Basically, the first lot of say 7 days from the lockdown, there was so much pressure that no doctor knew what the treatment was, whether the person was symptomatic or asymptomatic. He didn't know anything, so they had to rely on 3D printed face shields, which were a primary source of say safety, and that really gave a real boost to 3D printing in industry, wherein people understood that if such kind of a problem can be tackled so fast, we say within 1 or 2 days, we were supplying 2,000 sets to Sassoon Hospital daily. That is the scale that you can go to in 2 days. Then this technology does have
Yeah.
something to here, then that can really change the face of the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is how even Modi ji started recognizing 3D printing as a means to be the next technological superpower.
Yeah.
It's been a very high push for that.
Great. So hearing you kind of telling us great stories about 3D printing makes me think that we are taking a right step by kind of creating, making 3D printing as part of our courses now at CADCAMGURU. And this
I
gives me
don't-
great confidence
Yeah,
that we are in the right direction.
Every industry requires two things, that is skilled manpower and good resources or machinery to utilize that. So without the manpower that you are creating, 3D printing being the word is of no use, because if the
Yeah.
designer is still making things that are to be made by traditional processes, then it's of no use having such high tech technology even accessible. Nobody is going to use it. So that is what is the real key. You're doing the grassroots work for industries to really build up upon.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is what is really required.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was great talking to you, and hope we keep doing this great work.
Yes.